Hey guys, we're having a heat wave out here. It's like 25 degrees, which is like 15 degrees warmer than it has been. So, what is supposed to warm up this week? Maybe I get something done. Hey, my first video where I introduced myself and all my trucks showed you the oldest one I'd ever had, and it's not a cab over. It's the one I've had the longest. It's not the oldest. Old W9 that I bought probably in '95, and I figured, you know what? I'll give you a quick tour of it. Now, when I put this thing together, I didn't have any videos or anything like that. I had no idea I was going to do anything like this. But I took a lot of pictures. So the other night I sat down and put them in order and scanned them all. So I'm going to insert them into this video, hopefully in the right spot. And hey, I'm still learning. And I'll tell you about this truck, what it is and what I did and how I did it, I guess. So got the shorter hood on it, which I liked them better than the L's. The L's kind of sloped down too much for me. I wasn't a big fan. It's a Canadian built truck, 2XKWDB. The 2X, or the 2 in front of the X, means it was built in Canada. It's got 2 M's in the VIN number, which means Montreal. So a lot of little French guys ran around building this truck, probably. This truck was sold out of that same dealership in Milford, Connecticut, in Mayflower, Kenworth. It was a stock truck. They put it on the lot. Now, I had seen this truck in Michigan, and I watched them put it together because it had been laid over on its right side. And I watched it being wheeled in and out of the body shop for months. And I'd drive by it every day. And the salesman, when I went to buy it, he wasn't exactly truthful with me because I asked him, had it been wrecked? And he said no. So I traded my 84 in on it. He didn't exactly get what he thought he had coming either, but at least I knew what I had. First couple of years I ran a lot of East Coast with it, and I was out in Massachusetts. And a guy come up to me and he says, I know that truck. He says, used to have pinstripe all over it. It's black with a bunch of pinstripe. I says, yeah, I don't know. I think because on the stainless hinge on the bunk doors, there was some odd colors like purples and greens and yellows and blues, and it must have been from a pinstriper. He said that truck originally worked out of Massachusetts. It ran air freight from Logan Airport to Albany, New York, back and forth every night. And I knew he had the right truck because he said, some guy from Connecticut laid it over on its right side. I knew he was talking about this truck. So I bought it, and I went to work or I had been working for the Big Blue Star down there in Florida, Jacksonville, before they were a Big Blue Star. So worked it there several years. And I did a lot of trade show stuff. I hauled out of Florida a lot to Las Vegas Anaheim, San Francisco, stuff like that, and mostly carpeting. Hauled a lot of carpeting, which I'd be the first guy into the like Venetian or the MGM studios, and they'd unload my carpeting, and then I'd sit there for 5, 6 days, however long the trade show was. But I was always the last guy to leave because I had to get all the stuff off my carpeting before I could load. It paid really well, but I had the original 60-inch bunk. It was a comfortable truck, but sitting in it for 5 days, I'd watch these guys get out of these big trucks with these 150-inch bunks with their hair wet and coffee mug and just got done eating breakfast. And I'd get jealous. Now, I wasn't jealous of the hair being wet because I still had hair back then, but they just got a fresh shower and ate breakfast in their truck, and mine wasn't near that big. So I decided to cut it and build this bunk for it. And I wanted something that looked original from Kenworth. I liked the shape of the roof, and I wanted to keep it as original as I could. So I ended up cutting this truck. It's got a 324-inch wheelbase. So that means from the front bumper to the mud flaps is 35 foot long. We cut it and stretched it before I even started building the sleepers. I think that was in like 05 or something. And then shortly after that, the Blue Star down there in Florida, well, they terminated me for my creative log booking. Told me I could come back in 6 months, but by that time I had already figured out what I was going to do. So I went to work hauling produce with it, and it was a little heavy for produce, but I did it anyway. You learn how to make it work. So I had stretched it out at a buddy of mine's shop. Like I said, we sandblasted it, painted it, and I kind of drove it a couple of years that way while I started getting the bunk situation together. So I ended up getting I had to leave the bunk on it that I had. So I had to buy 2 more. So I went and bought a green one to begin with, stripped out the interior, and then I bought a blue one, or maybe it was the other way around. Well, I stripped the interior out of both of them. And cut the front off one, the back off another. And the floor pans for them are exactly the same on the front and the back. So I was able to turn them, hucker the floor pans together. I put a couple of pieces of iron in there to make it a little stronger. And then I started laying Luan wood, or real thin plywood, I think it's called Luan. Laying it in where the 2 roofs didn't meet up. And then just started laying fiberglass on it. And the neighbor, he would sit in a folded chair and drink beer and watch me all day long. And I didn't have much time to do it. I did it in the summertime outside, and when I had time. And he'd sit out there all day long and go, man, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. But eventually I got it done. I had to have a rotator come in, big tow truck, and reach over the fence with these like foot wide straps and lift it up and lift it over the fence. I put it on a car hauling trailer, and then I took it down to my buddy Troy's. And it was ready to go. So we had to wait for time where he had time and I had time where we could put it all together. So eventually we come up with the right time, fall of 2011, I think it was. I went down there and down to Troy's, and we just started taking it apart, pulled all the fuel tanks off from it, pulled the bunk off from it, sandblasted and painted the frame rails again. Then we painted the cab. I changed the right-hand door because it had Bondo in it, because it had been laid over on its right side. We pulled the bunk in, and Troy said, I'd never painted anything this big before all at one time. And painting it white was probably the hardest color to paint because we had a light gray primer on it. We had a hard time seeing it, but we got it all taken care of. So after we got the bunk painted, we painted the hood, and then we started putting it back together. First, I think we put one fuel tank on it so I could start it and drive it. Pulled it out in the parking lot, got 2 forklifts, got one on each side of it and lifted it up. I backed underneath it. Then we set it down, bolted it down, started putting fuel tanks on it, painted the hood, got that all put together. Then it was all one piece again. Unfortunately, I created a monster because this thing's got to weigh like 23,000 pounds. Now, over the years of collecting pieces and parts to do this, I stripped a couple of motorhomes, got parts out of them, sinks, things like that. Got a freshwater tank, water tank. So it's got like a 20-gallon freshwater tank in it. That's right. And it's inside the side box underneath the bed. And then a buddy of mine down in San Antonio gave me an inverter. So I wired that all in there. He used to work for like Coach Bus Company, Prevost Bus. And it came out of one of them buses. And it's kind of cool because it's hooked to the batteries, obviously to run it. And it's got wires like a house. So I put all house outlets inside this truck. I'll take you inside real quick. I got a new set of seats for it and some carpeting up here, so just don't pay any attention to that. I took the dash panels out, and they're falling apart now, but I got some real thin wood. It's got glue on it. You iron them on there. And veneer. And I veneered the dash oak. And I put a banjo steering wheel on it. I've done a lot of things to this thing. I put tilt wheel in it. This is the worst thing I ever did. Don't ever cut a hole in your roof. It probably took me 2 years to get that thing to stop leaking. But when the snow's not on it, you can see the exhaust pipes and little flappers on them. You can go down the road and it's kind of cool. It's a mess in here, guys. So the hole's still the same. But I put all Kenworth interior back in it. I was able to use all the pieces. They all fit. Still got the bunk bed on top. This bed on the bottom. Over here used to be a cabinet. The cabinet doors have long since left me. The switches, you know what? I don't even remember what they run. Lights or something back here. It's got a little wet bar in it. And the plumbing I've never hooked up. All the pipe is laying behind it. I've just never hooked it up. Underneath here, inside this door, which I'm a little afraid to open. Inside that door, there's a 5-gallon hot water tank for the shower. Used to have a flat screen TV there and surround sound. That's all laying down there. And I built this cabinet, just full of junk, with a little shelf, microwave oven. Then underneath that is a refrigerator freezer. And that thing's brand new. I put that in before I stopped driving this truck. Now, if you look back there, you see a house outlet. Everything's wired up to that inverter. There's another one. They're scattered all over in here. So I left the original corner pieces up in the front, the shelves. but I made a shelf across the top of that one because that's where the other bed would have been. Then I made a desk here, and underneath it I put a house air conditioner that the inverter won't run, but I had a generator on the truck too. And the generator was an Onan gas generator, so I put a 15-gallon aluminum gasoline cell on it that I could detach and carry up to a gas pump, fill it up, carry it back, hook it up. And that generator was so quiet that I had to open the bunk door when I started it to make sure it was running. And that air conditioning would keep it cold could be in here. I bought a carpet off a guy at a gas station down in Florida, put this crazy looking carpet down here. And I actually have enough to do the front again, or do the front in the same carpeting if I want to. There's a fuse box behind that with all the switches. And that's the generator. And I don't remember what, I'm going to have to hook a battery up to it. This thing is independent. I got a power wires running to it off the batteries. And it's independent of the cab, and everything's fused inside of that panel. I put a closet, there's a little shelf up there. I put a bigger closet in it. And I never finished the inside of it. I didn't know how to do upholstery then, so I didn't finish a lot of it. But I think I'll make some covers to put over everything. Right here, the door fell off. Like I said, it's been sitting for several years. But I put a shower in it. And I never put the shower head on or the handles on. It's pretty dirty, but I think it'll clean up. But one of these days I need to in-frame it and then go back to it and finish it. Get it together. Because I ain't going to live forever, and I don't want it to sell for hardly nothing. I want it to be running and going down the road, you know. Because it's got 355 rears, 15 speed, 4.25 cat, had a little pump work done to it. It's a good running truck. But hopefully with the pictures that I'm going to insert in all of this, you can kind of get an idea how I put it together. And it took me several years. I didn't do it all in one day. I didn't do it all in 1 month. But it was a lot of collecting parts and figuring things out. But it was a lot of fun to drive. I had a desk. This desk here, I used to have a little stool sitting there. Got a little George Foreman grill. I could sit there and make myself dinner and roll that curtain down. It was like I was in an apartment sitting on the side of the mountain out in California or in the desert in Arizona or something. And it just kind of like take me away, you know. But that's what it is. I got a set of seats for it because that one is in bad shape. I put a lot of miles on this old truck. Boy, look at that snow. But anyway, there you have it. There's my 91 W9 with an 84 or 85 hood on it. I got everything to put this thing back together except for the time. And I guess that's something that you got to make. Because I certainly haven't been able to earn it. Anyway, that's what it is. I appreciate you watching. All right, guys. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by.
it's been real good hanging out with you today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share the video, and we're